You're watching Total Access at the NAB AFL Draft Combine, and I'm about to introduce the final guest on the Total Access programming for the week. And in a recruiting sense, the best has been saved to last. The man who set up the Brisbane Lions dynasty with 4 grand finals in a row, the man who also put together the Western Bulldogs list, which has made the past 3 preliminary finals, and the man who is now empowered with setting up the list for the Gold Coast Suns, the new AFL team. Scott Clayton, welcome to Total Access.
Thanks, Damien. Good to be here.
This draft is the Clayton's draft, isn't it? You've got 9 of the first 15 picks. You've already got the best player of the competition outside of Geelong, Gary Ablett joining. It must be a real joy to you to have access to so many great kids at your disposal.
Oh, look, it's fantastic, and it was certainly the appeal of the challenge in the first instance to put together a list from scratch, the purest form of recruiting, and been a really exciting ride so far. And this week's been fantastic, and we look forward to the draft on the Gold Coast in mid-November.
You've had pressures in the past with trying to get good players to clubs with low selections, which you've done very incredibly well over the years. Is this as much pressure as well? Because it seems obvious that with 9 out of 15 that you should get it right, but does that bring its own pressure?
Look, it certainly does. No doubt, that amount of selections, you've got the cards, and now we've got to do all our research and work and be very thorough. And we've watched, the amount of footy we've watched this year is incredible. And then culminating with these few days and interviewing, we've just got to make sure we do it right.
You've made one selection to this point, that's David Swallow. The rest is going to play out in obviously the draft. Just take us through him and what he will bring to the Gold Coast Suns.
Oh, look, already he's just an elite power running midfielder who's tough and strong and versatile. In the VFL comp this year, there were days where he kicked 4 and 5 goals as a midfielder, and the fact that he'll get another pre-season in the lead-in to our debut AFL season is going to stand him in great stead. He's a very talented player, and we're rapt to be able to already get that working to him.
Scott, Harley Bennell is your purported number 2. He's been all this week, but he hasn't tested. What can you tell us about that?
Look, we certainly haven't ticked off on our draft order. We've certainly got an open mind, and he's one that we're evaluating. He's clearly a very exciting talent, so versatile, also wins contested footy, runs it clear, great skills. Can play outside, and also then goes to the goal square and sits on someone's head and takes marks and kicks goals. So we've certainly spoken to Harley a lot, and he's one that we're evaluating very, very closely.
It's almost expected that you'll take Harley at 2 and then Sam Day at pick number 3. Sam's only been here 1 day this week. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, he's in a grand final with Sturt Reserves on Sunday, so for him to come in for a couple of days is a great effort even. So we've spoken to him again. We've also watched him a lot during the year. He was part of the AFL AIS Academy this year, and he's a great talent, a power forward. They don't come along very often. So clearly he's high on our list.
Scott, Andrew Gaff is one who's really impressed during the Combine week, and he was always going to go high anyway. Will he be available for you at 5?
Well, he's certainly available for us at 2 and 3. So
you haven't locked in 2 and 3 yet.
So we'll be thinking along those lines. But you're right. I mean, he's another high quality young man, absolute power runner. We saw with his beat test, and he's an elite kick, of great character. We're certainly very impressed with him.
And so your final evaluation, Scotty, all the data will come out to you and you'll ponder over it. How will you prepare for the 18th of November when you go to that draft on the Gold Coast? What's the format for the way you'll sit there and call your names out?
Look, like any year, you're right, we want to get the information out of this combine. The psych testing and all that's important to us, and there's a few more boxes to be ticked. Historically, we've gone to draft day and never made a decision on the day. Every scenario has been played out, will be planned and methodical, and we'll roll them out one after another, and it's just going to be such an exciting day.
And you're planning to take how many choices at the moment? Like how your list is currently just over 30, is it? And how much room you got?
Yeah, look, we're planning on probably having 10 or 11 picks. The list model that we've rolled out for 2 years now, we haven't sort of deviated on the number of uncontracteds or clearly the 12, 17-year-olds that we could take at the start of the year. And the Queenslanders and Northern Territory guys that we've listed, we know we've got to be a vehicle for Queenslanders, which we're pleased and proud to do. So this is the last go at it, and I think probably 10 or 11 picks.
Traditionally, you've been, Scott, a person who takes a lot of interest in athletic types. Were you think you'd be doing something similar in this draft coming up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they've got to be able to play footy. That's the first filter. But after they can play, you'd be silly not to look at the best athletes and the strongest mentally, characters out of that group. So they're all things that we take into consideration.
And now that Gary Ablett's confirmed the signing, is it a key moment now that you can actually tell everyone you've got him and that you can now move forward with that without sort of talking about it in generic terms?
Yeah, look, I'm sure it's exciting for some of the young men that might join the Gold Coast Suns. That here we are. We've shown that we're aiming for the top. We've shown that we want to be the best we can. We're displaying. We want to stand for being an exciting sporting club. And it's fantastic for our market on the Gold Coast. Clearly, he's one name that's well known, and we're gathering momentum, and we need to. We're in the comp. One more game of footy, we're in the comp, so it's a very exciting ride.
And will there be any more uncontracted players joining the 6 you've already got?
Yeah, there may be. We're just.
That means yes. How big a name?
No, we're just doing some due diligence on a couple at the moment, so we'll see how it fits in.
Okay, Scott, thanks for joining us on Total Access today.
Thank you.
Gold Coast recruiter Scott Clayton is joining us there. This is Total Access at the NAB AFL Draft Combine. We'll be up next with Trade Talk with Ben Broad, and afl.com.au is where you can get all your trade and drafting news. This is Total Access from the AIS in Canberra. This is Total Access coming to you from Camp.